Hello and welcome to another live stream. I missed you guys last week because I was on a plane to Cape Town, and that's where I am right now. And it is dark here. Otherwise, I would show you what it looks like out the window. It is absolutely beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful places I have ever been in my life. This house where I'm staying is where I met my wife 10 years ago. It is a beautiful place. And just around the corner is some really great windsurfing as well. Now, most people, when they come to Cape Town, they stay on the other side of the mountain. I'm on the south side. And that is also totally fine. And you're close to a lot of the normal windsurfing beaches like Sunset and Big Bay and Hackett and Milk Boss. And that is where I stayed on my first trips to Cape Town as well. Uh, Other than the very first trip, actually, when I stayed both in this house and on the other side, uh, different parts of the trip. I was here for almost 3 months, I believe, that first time for training. But anyway, in the more recent trips that I've done here, I've stayed mainly on the south side. And the last time I was here in 2020, I didn't sail one time on the northern side of the mountains. And that'll be different this trip. I'm planning to go north tomorrow. But I just throw that out there because a lot of people, a lot of windsurfers, when they think about coming to Cape Town, they think about staying in Tableview, Millerton, Sunset, Milk Boss. And there's a whole beautiful world in Kamaki, Scarborough, and the windsurfing is really great, particularly on the northwest days, which are my favorite because it's starboard tack. But also on the southerly, southeasterly days as well. You can get some really fun windsurfing. I'll show you guys some photos in a second, and then we'll load up the Facebook group. We've got a good crew joining us. Look at that. Hey, Greg, Jorg, Axel. Axel is in Morocco. Awesome. 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 Love it. Rich, Tomas. Tomas broke his arm. Hope you're healing up. Rasmus. I saw Rasmus in Hamburg. Happy New Year, man. Rich, got the stomach flu. Oof, not so good. Hey, Matt, good to see you in the chat. All right, I will load up. I want to show you guys some of the pictures. Hey, John. John's with us too. So I want to load up some pictures just to show a little bit about my session. See if this works. No. Gotta update something in my preferences. Hey, Jeff. Missing you down here. I was hoping to see you in Cape Town. We're having an awesome time in Kamaki so far. I had a crazy end of the year, and so now really need needed a little break, and then getting into all of my new stuff. All right, so for some reason, I've got to update my settings here. It's not letting me share my screen. Let me try that again. Share screen. Go. All right, it's working. So I don't think I can show you guys the photos. That seemed to not be working. Well, here, let me try that one more time. And then if it doesn't work, we'll just go through the Facebook group and call it a day. And I'll load some of the photos in the Facebook group for later. I've got some videos too. I'm going to do some posts. I had a really fun day. I really enjoyed the session. I don't know if my internet is strong enough to load any of the videos, but let me try. Why not? There's no harm in trying, right? So here's one of my favorite videos from this session. Let me see if this will load here. All right. Yeah, this is kind of loading, right? So it's all in slow-mo, so you guys have to watch it in slow-mo. But this is My session from a couple days ago, this is Misty Cliffs, which is one of my favorite spots to sail, and often because when I'm there, I'm the only one out many times, and it's just fun, beautiful wave, just 1 or 2 hits, hollow section, just fun, and, yeah, I love this spot here. I can show you another another video or 2, another little clip. Alright, we got a few more people showing up in the chat. Ragnar, ice and snow. Um, yeah, just starting to plan the master classes for the summer, so I've gotta get some dates out there. That's one of the things I'm doing now before the master class starts in Cape Town. We got a few people on Facebook. Unfortunately, Facebook is hiding who you are. So hello, hello, hi, hi. Rich had a good day on Christmas. Nice. Suna, hello, Suna. Freezing in Denmark. Eric, -20. Awesome. Leon asked me if I can say something about the new taboo boards. So the 2024 taboo boards are a big change. They're going with to a single concave, and yeah, they feel pretty fun. Hey, Carl. Um, yeah, I'm gonna load up the Facebook group. I can try to say more about the new taboo boards at some point as well. Uh, but yeah, so the curves are going to all single concave, which is pretty interesting, I think. Uh, pretty interesting. And they work. They seem to work pretty well on the wave. I love the old ones. I like the new ones. I'm a pretty big fan of the curves. I really love the old ones too. Um, yeah, oh, it's Hans on Facebook saying hi. Hi. All right. So first up, we've got a post from Axel. So Axel says a couple wave rides in Essaouira. Waves were closing out pretty quick, allowing for 1 or 2 turns. Only so I had to focus on the right timing and placement. I'm often struggling when I can only do 1 turn. Seems like I always need a little setup turn to pick up speed and get in the right position. Setup turns can be really helpful. The sandbags have shifted, so able to do fewer turns, but it's also steeper. All right, this pulls us out to YouTube. Let's see if this still works. Should still work. Uh, I like the speed. I like the energy. I like the charge. Axel's all. Are you all fired up? So Axel, I said won the award for best improved last year. Are you trying to do 2 in a row? I love it. Max, happy new year and good to see you here. All right, Axel. Axel's going for most improved 2 years in a row. That's an awesome hit. You were not doing these, at least not that I saw last year. Um, one of the things we talk about is that making big off the lips is one about speed. You have to have speed because if you don't have speed, the wave just lunches you. And having speed allows you 2 things. One, it's like riding a bike. The faster you're going, the easier it is to balance, right? When you're going slow, you're wobbly. Same thing on a windsurfer. 2, more speed allows you more forgiveness. So if you're a little bit off on your timing, if you're a little bit off on your placement with the lip, you fly through that little bit of chop or a little bit of the lip that maybe is breaking too early. And so having that speed, it's forgiving. So you can have some mistakes. And actually, it looks like you've got a fair bit of speed, and so that's really helping you. And the second thing is that high five. So getting the bottom of the board presented to the lip. And what that does, it's also kind of connected to speed. It allows the power of the wave to transfer into the board, which then pushes you out of that danger zone into the safety zone. And that's what's happening here. So we're getting this power transfer. We're a little bit late, actually. You could go a little bit earlier, but still, we can see the high five, right? The bottom of that board is placed to the lip, high five, and it's throwing you forward, coming down. And yes, your nose dives, but if you do this a few more times, you're going to land this because really the hardest part is getting to here, and we made it. So, all right, number 2. Very similar setup to the first one. Good speed. And that so that was earlier, but then you kind of not missed the second turn. Whitewater turns. We love whitewater turns. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on there? I don't know what happened there. All right. So we like whitewater turns. This is a little bit early, but well, in the pocket action. Actually, I like that. I like that timing, and I think that's probably something that felt really good. I like it. It can be hard to tell from this angle exactly how the timing is, but I think at first I thought that was maybe a little bit too early, but actually I don't think so. I think that timing was bang on. This one looks difficult. So this is an example of wave selection. And often when you see a whitewatery wave, and so what I mean by that is a wave that is being made by the whitewater from the waves in front. And this one isn't a full-on whitewater wave, but it is more so than those other waves that you were riding. And that's often a bad sign. And in general, you should avoid the whitewater waves. And there's a few reasons for that. One reason is that it's hard to see. It's kind of like when you're skiing above the tree line and it can be difficult to really realize what the terrain is. Two, because there's more air in the water, your fins slide out more easily. Three, because there's whitewater in the wave, that means that it's breaking farther in than the other waves were breaking, which means it's probably a smaller wave. So often you want to be on the bigger waves, cleaner waves, not whitewater waves. So that's, I think, the biggest takeaway from that clip. We're just kind of flying through these, a bit of a speed run for all of these clips. Axel, if there's something really specific that I'm skipping over, let me know, and I can talk about it. I like this. This looks like a nice high five. Something that I think you will find useful is moving those hands closer together. So it looks like now we can't see your backhand, but I believe from how this looks that you're leaving your grip pretty wide for the cutback, which isn't bad. Sometimes you do want to have a wide grip on the cutback, but it does what happens here where your ability to really come back around is hindered because there's more pressure on the sail, which means the sail's not able to open up, which means the sail wants to pull you more down the line rather than allowing you to complete that turn upwind. And so by bringing that back hand closer to the harness lines, you'll be able to get a more complete top turn. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's something that you'll find useful, hopefully. Boom. Whoa. That's a stellar one. Look at that, right in the pocket. This one must have felt good. Look at this. High five, off the lip. So something that you can do a little bit differently on this section. So it looks like you're kind of really standing up as you come down. You can do the opposite of that and really try to get low and really get low with your butt down to the water. I'll show an example in a second. I'll go back to one of my clips from here from the other day, and you can see. But I don't want to put too many things in your head. Avoid whitewater waves. Super easy heuristic on the wave selection. Just avoid whitewater waves. Another nice turn. Axel, looks like you're really getting this rhythm and getting the high fives. I mean, what I like about this is the quick transition from the bottom turn to the cutback, which once you're getting the bottom turn down and you're getting that transition quick and snappy, it really opens up where you can be on the wave. All right, I want to put this video back on, and I want to look. So this is a somewhat similar section, and I want to show you. So instead of standing tall, I get the high five, I get my board in that curl, and I'm getting small. I'm keeping my body pretty small and not allowing myself to stand up too much. There's a little bit of straightening that happens in the legs, but then as soon as the board comes down, I absorb, and it feels a bit better than standing up on the lip. You want to kind of keep that board on the rail as much as you can. So Axel, that was a lot that we just went over. Hopefully you took some notes. I don't know if I can remember it all. Avoid whitewater waves, hands close together on the cutback, and you're doing a lot of things great. So keep that up. All right, Kevin is looking for a down the line wave sailing spot in Europe during the spring or summer. Portugal is a great place to hang out. Northern Spain as well. We've got a lot of people saying Canary Islands, Fuerteventura. I think all of those are good options. I don't know if there's somewhere that's really consistent for down the line windsurfing in the summer in Europe. Portugal is a lot of fun. Canary Islands can be a lot of fun. Galicia, I don't know how often it works, but when it works, it's really good. Later summer than Denmark starts getting consistent, but really later summer. You don't want to be there in June. It can be good in June, but you definitely don't want to count on it. Whereas Portugal can be really fun in June, but it's not quite down the line. You can get down the line days, but it's more a little bit onshore in the wind around Ginchu. But there's a lot of spots, and it's a lot of fun. It's a fun country. So my vote would be for Portugal. That's where I would be. So Manu asks, how much pressure do you put on your backhand at the bottom turn? So we were talking about backhand pressure in the top turn. In the bottom turn, it's a different story. I think I have quite a bit of pressure in that I'm really pulling on that hand, but and this is a big but, like monumental big but. You need to sheet out in the middle of the bottom turn. You need to sheet out, and if you're not sheeting out, then you're not able to come vertical enough on the wave. And this is actually one of the most common problems that people have is that they're sheeting in because they've read in all the magazine articles in the bottom turn, you've got to sheet in and lean forward. But then they're not sheeting out. And so then if you think about it, what you're doing when you're sheeting in is pulling you downwind. But as you're doing your bottom turn, especially as it's more onshore, you're coming around upwind. And so like if you're going through a jibe, you've got to open that clue. Otherwise, the wind is going to come from the other side of the sail, which is not something that you want in your wave ride. So if we look at my bottom turn here, and this is pretty down the line conditions, so pretty offshore. So you can't actually see it that much, but you can see that the main sheeting in the bottom turn is this early part. And then there's a transition in the middle to sheeting out. And the more onshore the wind is, the more radical that sheeting out is going to be. We've got someone on Facebook saying that Denmark or Ireland can also work when you travel forecast base. Yeah, so that's a really good point. Thank you. That if you want to get the best conditions, you've got to travel. All right, this is yours truly. This is that same session, and I guess Tavi was filming from the cliff. You should have come down. It was super fun, and as you can see, I was alone. Flo was there too, but I was pretty alone. I did more goiters than I could count. It was pretty fun session. This first aerial was interesting because I had the perfect setup for a tweaked aerial. This is the perfect setup, but I held back. I didn't push it as hard as I could have on the tweak, and I don't know why. I was just a little bit timid, and but then it's not committing screwed it up, and that's why this landing is kind of bouncy. So actually, I would have had a better landing if I'd committed more, I think. So that was an interesting one. All right, next up, we've got yeah, Tavi, I had a few tweaks that I was happy with. There's one I posted on my Instagram that Sarah Kita took a photo of, a video of. But thank you. I always appreciate footage and photos. Um, yeah, just to prove the session happened. Um, all right. Next up, we've got a post from Hans. So Hans has been working hard. Hans is a regular poster in the group. He's come on 2 of the master classes. He's also been making a lot of progress, and this is more of a story than an actual question. So, following the coaching, the master class in Denmark, he felt more progress the first master class. That's almost always going to be the case. The first time is going to be a big like change, right? So the first time you come on a master class with me, there's so much to learn, and then the next time it's a lot of refinement, which is true of all learning, right? You have your bigger jumps in the beginning, and the better you get, the more it's refinement, and so the smaller your jumps are going to be, and the harder they get to be as well. So going from landing, for example, your first goiter to landing all your goiters is a really long journey, actually. Um, and that's true for everything. Some of the things it's not true of. Some of the things you have more of a sort of a cliff, like the forward loop might be an example. Whereas you start doing forwards and then it's sort of like a floodgate has opened up. Anyway, let's get to Hans's post. He took a massive step forward last month. And this is also something that we see happen where you come on a coaching week and there's so much information, and then a month later, 2 months later, it all starts to click. And the things that we were talking about in that week all start to fall in place because a week isn't that much time and there's a lot to go over. And so I see this, I hear this a lot from people. It's like, oh, everything suddenly clicked 2 months later, and all the exercises we were working on, it all came together, and suddenly it all worked. And that's how it works. I mean, there's not that much you can learn in a week. I mean, we hope you can learn a lot, but a week is still really limited. And so, like, what I'm trying to do is, instead of trying to teach you as much as I can in a week, is plant as many seeds as I can in that week, so that then when you go off, those seeds can grow and ultimately you get more out of it. Also, it's sort of how I think about learning myself. I think about planting seeds and growing those seeds. All right, so let's go over Hans's post. So I told Hans to buy a new board, and this is funny because often I'm not the person that's saying you need to get a new board, but Hans is very attached to his board, which is a very specific board. It's a very cool board. There's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like it's limiting his windsurfing because it's so specific, and it's made a it's sort of affected his sailing because of that. And so it's cool. I love that you feel the difference on the board and you feel like it's changed your approach, which is awesome. Um, and then yeah, placement was a big one that we talked about. Awesome, that's finally clicking. Um, and then working on the bottom turn, and then watching Mark in Denmark, which we were lucky to have the opportunity to do. And you landed your first aerial. Awesome. So this is, yeah, again, like Han said, more of a progress report, but we love those, right? It's not just about asking questions. It's also about sharing wins, sharing struggles. Um, Hans, so Rasmus is asking, what is Hans's weight? Hans, what is your weight? If I had to guess, I'd say it's around 90 kilos, but I'm not sure. It could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. I would guess around 90-ish. Hans, if you're in the chat, let us know. All right, let's make these big. Oh, did you just share it? I just saw. Hans says 94. Yeah, so 96 is a fairly small board then. But I'm glad that it's working. That's awesome. All right, let's play these clips. Ooh, look at that. Yeah. Boom. That's the aerial. Look at that. That is an aerial. So, the aerial is if we had to talk about what makes an aerial, it's speed, it's the high five, getting that angle of the board, and the right placement, and looking for those corner pocket sections. Talking a lot about the corner pocket. It's looking for a pocket that has a curl to it. So you don't want a crumbly corner pocket. Those are great for doing off the lips, but if you want to do an aerial, you need that curl that throws you into the air. And it looks like hmm, this is not playing. Why is it not playing? All right, let's make it big again. So you need that curl. So you can see through the window here, there's a curl on that lip, curl on that corner pocket, getting that high five, lots of speed. Boom. That is what we like to see. All right. All right. The next clip. So congrats, Hans. First aerial, huge milestone. Whoa, look at that. That was a snappy off the lip. And I like this. So the off the lips were one thing where I felt like because this board does turn so easily that you were not pushing as aggressively as you could, and that's something that I hope that a new board would help. And this looks a lot more aggressive than what we were seeing before, and I really like it. I like carrying the speed. I love it. Um, yeah, look at that spray. All right, one more clip. Here we go. I can see the bottom turn kata also paying off. Yeah, this wave is less impressive than the other ones, just in terms of what the wave is offering you, what the canvas is doing. Less curl here, less stand up. Let's see. But good effort. All right, do we have another clip or was that it? Oh, nice. Nice. So here's another angle. Yeah, looking good. And this is the aerial. No, not the aerial. This is a different one. Lots of turns there. Um, looking good. So we've got a lot of clips. So this is good, Hans. I feel like your journey is is working. I feel like from this post, it sounds like things are progressing progressing well. Looks like you're having fun. Love this area. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. So many things coming together in that moment. So awesome. Um, yeah, cool. So we've got another post. So this is about top and bottom turns with footage from the shore. So footage from the shore is great. It's a really good complement to the POV GoPro style footage. So this is Hans's self-coaching. So he feels he's improved on bending his knees, moving the hands, and being more active. What he wants to improve, what his impression is extending the arms more in the bottom turn, even more lean in the turn, and hips, 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 hips. All right, let's check this out. So Hans, I would say here, I mean, we can't see that much what comes after this, but your body position looking solid. I like the alignment of the hips. I like the bend in the knees. You're getting a lot more lean over. I like that a lot. The only point that I would pick on is your placement on the wave. And so what we want to think about is going from a power source to a power source. And so you're going to somewhere with power. And it looks like you're starting with a power source. This part of the wave looks powerful. But then if I look at where you're going, it looks like the wave is starting to disappear. Now, if I look at the wave behind, it looks like there's a power source on this wave over here. So possibly just off the screen, there's a power source coming. But this is a very long distance to travel between power sources. And so most of the time, I would recommend waiting longer so that this has formed up more. The wave down the line of you has formed up more, so it's more of a power source closer to you. Now, that said, you might be trying to get to this section and then get to more sections down the line that you would miss if you don't start the wave now. And if that's the case, this is part of your setup and this is fine. But really, the only coaching that I have of this, because I think there's so much correct in this image, but really want to think about is making sure that we're going to a power source. That's really important. We can see that the water here seems lower than the water here, which means that this part is starting to suck. This is really a power source, but this isn't right here. Opening the sail. Uh, Similar thing with this. The wave is starting to disappear over here. And so if we can be turning, starting to turn higher up on the wave, will be helpful. Now, the wave is definitely not disappearing where you're turning here. I like a lot of this placement, but could be a little bit lower, but I'm not going to nitpick. It looks like you're getting a high five, you're getting the arms extended, you're getting the sail open, and you're getting this S in the front arm. Looks like it's really working. All right, we're back to the POV footage. And boom, nice little high five. And another one. Yeah, I like that. I love that feeling myself where you get two of those high five lip hits in a row without much break in between. And it just feels so good. We go like one, two. And I know this feeling. Like when you're doing this on the water, we come down from one and you're going into the next one, and the wave is breaking next to you and it's breaking down the line. You feel like you might not have enough time, but you just go through it, throw your board up there. And when it all works out, it feels amazing. So right on. And that's the last one. So Hans said that waiting longer was one of the things that really improved. Yeah, awesome. So that I think is going to be something that you can focus on that will really pay huge dividends. The technique stuff looks really good. You can keep working on that as well. But really make sure you're going to a power source. And so the two ways to do that are waiting longer or setting up, making sure that you've got that power source downwind to you. So like, for example, if you were setting up on this wave here, then you'd be going into the power source. I'm talking about the wave behind. Looks like the power source is going to be over here. Now, I recognize that this spot might be difficult. I've never sailed here. This is Domburg, right? And what we can see though in this photo is there's a power source here and a power source here. It's not that the power sources are exactly lined up with each other, though if I had to guess, if we zoomed out, it looks like this section of the wave is going to hit some kind of sandbar, turn into a bit of a power source, and then you have the other one down the line. So there is some consistency, but it looks like it's maybe moving around as well, which can be difficult. But just really paying attention, making sure you're traveling to a power source will really help you out. All right, next up, we've got a post from Rasmus, and he wants to convert his tri-fin into a 5-fin. And so put in quad boxes in the rear. Oof, I'm not really sure. But from what I've seen in the 5-fin boards that are 5-box boards, that a lot of times that those boxes are in line with the rear fin, the center fin box. So pretty in line. I don't think you want them too far forward or too far back from where that uh, main thruster fin would be, your center fin. And I think that makes sense because those rear fins you want them under your back foot, and it doesn't matter if what it is, whether it's a quad or a twin or a thruster with a single fin. But you don't want to put toe in on them. The rear boxes don't never have toe in. Um, so we get on Facebook not to do it, makes it too heavy, and there's mostly no space. Yeah, I mean, I have 5 box boards and super interesting to experiment with, but then I found a setup that I liked and I just used it that setup and I never switched back and forth. So if you know what you like, just starting with that setup is probably better. If you want to experiment, I'm all about experiments. But you know that it does make it a little heavier and but if you want to experiment, go for it. Um, yeah, but like I said, for myself, when I've had 5 box boards, I end up using it with the setup that I like. Not really switching it up. All right, we got a post from Adrian about the crime in Cape Town. Cape Town is an amazing place. I'm here now, and it's beautiful, and there's yet a lot of inequality here and a really rough history. So there is more crime than you would find in most of the places in Europe that we come from, or Hawaii in my case. But that said, it's not a place that feels super unsafe, which is maybe why then people are really relaxed about it. So my philosophy is you just have to be aware. You just have to be paying attention. And if there's something strange going on, get out of that situation. Don't walk around with your phone or your money or your camera hanging out. If you've got stuff in your car, make sure it's not visible, which is one of the things that Adrian says. Another thing Adrian says is to stay off the sand dunes, so it's to stay on the trails, and that's also an important one. So the dunes are an important part of the ecosystem here, and if you're walking all over the dunes, it can mess them up. So the locals really appreciate it when you stay on the paths. But that said, yeah, Cape Town's an amazing place. I There's no reason to be scared. You just have to be aware when you're here, which, maybe I mean, like, for example, Maui, I drive around in a pickup truck with all my gear in the back with no cover, no lock. I mean, if someone wanted to, they could take all of my gear. And so, like, Maui is so much safer than Germany. Like, I couldn't do that in Germany or the Canary Islands. And so, this is just another level from then Europe. So, like, if you have Hawaii is so safe, and then you have Europe less safe, this is a little bit less safe than that. Um, but you just have to be aware is the main thing. Just be aware of your surroundings and not being uh, visible. Like, don't park the car, leave your camera and wallet on the front seat because yeah, there's just more people who are desperate enough to take it. Thank you, Greg, for the wonderful wishes for 2024. I wish the same to all of you. Tom has a new sponsor. Alex, what's the biggest sale in float and ride conditions? I fluctuate a lot in my weight, somewhere between, really depends how much I'm training. If I'm going to the gym a lot, I'm heavier. If I'm more bulked up, if I'm sailing a lot but not going in the gym, then I'm a lot lighter. I can get down to like 83, 84 kilos. If I'm in the gym a lot, like if I'm in Germany and I'm kind of bulked up, then I'm more like 90, 90 plus. And my biggest sale, all of those weights, is a 5.5 and a 95 board. All right, that's it. We're caught up. So I've got a masterclass in Cape Town that starts in 2 weeks. I'm really excited for it. It's going to be a bit different than the other masterclasses. And I'm really excited for that. We're going to do a photo shoot. We're going to have a photo shoot day where we're going to get you your best photos you've ever had of yourself. And in addition to sort of the usual stuff that we do, I've got some fun things planned, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. There are a couple spots left. So if you want to join, the dates are the 22nd of January to the 28th. We will be using 5 of those days. And if you have any other questions, let me know. If you want to join, let me know. Shoot me out. We've got a couple spots available, and we've got a great group so far. And yeah, couple spots left. And if you want to join, 22nd of January to the 28th, let me know. And I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. We've got a windy week here in Cape Town coming up. I dinged my board, and so I've got to get it repaired, but I'll be on the water, and maybe I can post some footage. All right, take care, everyone. I hope you have a windy week as well. Let me know if you're interested in joining the Cape Town Masterclass, and let me know if you're sailing this week. Post a photo, a video, a question, a comment, a concern, all of the above in the Facebook group. Until next week, take care. Goodbye.